Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. Child, kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. Y'all. Okay, this is my review recap. Bel-Air Season 2, Episode 9. Just like old times. Honey, listen, I don't want the old times, all right? I need some new times because y'all running up my blood pressure. Y'all running up my blood pressure, child. Y'all stressing me the hell out, especially this daggone Carlton. I need them to get it together, y'all. I need Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil to see what the heck is going on. See through the lies. I need Jeffrey to get on it, baby, okay? I need him to get on daggone Carlton. I need him to get on daggone Doc. I need him to get them up out of here. That is what I need. Child, we got Carlton out here still telling lies, 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 lies. The more he lied, the more he got to lie on top of that lie to keep up with the other lie because he ain't remember the other lie. He don't know what the heck going on. I can't, y'all. I can't, all right? Somebody help me. Somebody help me. Freaking Hillary is falling for the daggone okie doke. She over here caught up in her feelings. Her and Jazz still want each other, but we want to act like we don't want each other. Drew still smiling and lying and daggone Lisa face talking about, I just don't see what you see in him. And we saying we don't see what she see in you, Drew, with your raggedy behind. I can't, y'all. I can't. Erica's still trying to creep up from behind thinking we don't see her. We see you, girl. We see you coming from a mile away. You ain't got nobody fooled, child. Let's go ahead and get into this episode, y'all. Break it on down. Take it from the top. You know how we do. Oh, they working my nerves. So we start off this episode. Uncle Phil and Will is putting Aunt Viv up to speed on what's going on, what's happening with Doc and this daggone, organization that he have. Will is in his feelings. Oh, I didn't see the truth. You knew what you was talking about, and I didn't believe you. I should have listened to you. Boo, hoo, 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 hoo. We know how he do. Then we get freaking Carlton at the school. He's still trying to figure out what's going on. We got this other boy coming up saying, yo, for real, what happened with daggone Connor? Nobody has seen him. That's not like him to miss practice. And of course, Carlton trying to play it off, talking about, I don't know, I'm not his keeper. You know I don't mess with him like that. But really, he over here panicking, trying to find out what happened to him too. Now, Lisa walking down the hall, and like I said, she sees Carlton. She don't say nothing, but at the same time, she's letting Drew know, look, it's complicated. Don't get into the middle of what, I'm saying, me and him have as a friendship. And of course, like I said, he talking about, I just don't understand what you see in him. And, he ain't about nothing anyway. He over here still messing with that white dude. And she was like, who? She was like, nah, he don't mess with him no more. Okay, that is old news. And he's basically like, oh, well, why did I see him at the car? Why are you hating? Why are you hating and why are you freaking tattletelling? I'm sick of you, Drew, okay? The only people I want tattletelling on Carlton is the ones that's really trying to help him and genuinely care about him and is letting his family know what the hell it is. Not you that's over here trying to sneak and trying to get Lisa draws, okay? Bye, boy. But anyway, she's like, no, that's not possible. So, of course, she ends up, having a conversation with Will, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, Will makes this stop because he says to Uncle Phil and them, he's going to go and talk to Doc himself, right? He says, you told me that a man, basically faces another man head on and deals with their problems and all of that because Jeffrey was like, that he would go. And I'm with Jeffrey. I'm like, yes, send Jeffrey. But no, Uncle Phil says, no, we're going to give him a chance. We're going to let him handle it first. But if it gets to a point where words is not enough, then that's where we will step in. And Jeffrey was looking shocked and I was looking shocked too. I said, no, why are we waiting? Why are we not sending Jeffrey out ASAP, okay, today? But we gonna let Will go ahead and talk. So for whatever reason, Will actually stops by and talks to the guys first. And what do you think their reaction is? Surprise, 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 right? Are any of us really surprised? They are basically saying, look, Doc is our only way. Like, oh, so you heard the truth. You know what's going on now. Good for you. But we don't have it like you do. We not going home to rich, houses and fancy cars or whatever. We taking the bus. So because you taking the bus, it's okay that Doc is doing, wicked stuff. And they're basically saying, oh, don't worry about, the fact that homeboy had to go off the team or whatever, or decided to leave, because in the end he's probably going to end up being in the pros anyway. And they basically leave, you know, Will standing there with egg on his face, child. So, you know, Will, I guess, is calling himself dropping out of the program. He just came in to say his piece. All right, cool. But they ain't trying to hear him. They just trying to go ahead about their business, because they feel like this is their only way, you know what I'm saying, that they got out, and they don't have any options. Now, in the meantime, Erica coming in with some flowers. The flowers was cute, girl, okay? But they gonna shrivel up and die just like you if you keep playing in Aunt Viv's face, because I'm sick of your mess too. Thinking that you daggone slick. You know, she want to talk about how she wasn't going to have no other way to come and, you know, get to see how they house is or whatever. You know, she just rude walking right in, child. I didn't invite you in. That's what I was waiting for Aunt Viv to say. You know, Aunt Viv is shocked by her, you know, by her coming up to her damn house like, girl, what you doing here? But Aunt Viv admits that, you know, if I'm going to keep it real, I done peeked at your daggone penthouse you had on Instagram a couple of times, so I guess we even. And it's like, well, since you here, come on, let's sit down, let's chat for a minute, you know, let's have a drink. She claiming that she wanted to come and speak to her face to face and give her an apology. Child, I don't believe it, not for 1 second. Now, in the meantime, Phil gets pissed off because he sees this so-called deal, and he's like, yo, no, this is not good. Like, hold up, wait a minute, what is this? This ain't no damn great deal. They want us to fire half our staff. And he was like, it's an acquisition, Phil. That's what we knew was going to happen eventually. Like, we knew it was coming to this. It wasn't no other way, because of the fact that we did not get the daggone deal. So some of the employees is going to have to be laid off. And Phil is like, that's not some of the damn employees. That's half, and that's freaking, you know, people that work here for years. That's like family, James. What the hell are you talking about? They got medical bills, they got, you know, mortgages and all different kind of stuff they got to take care of. And so, of course, you know, this board that's here at the firm is all in agreement, saying when it comes down to stuff like this, this is when we know that we have to make some tough choices. And Phil said, hell to the no, okay, this ain't how it's going to go. Ain't no damn way I'm agreeing to something like this. He was like, you know, this is too much. We're giving them too much control of the benefits. He was like, we need a new plan. I'm not willing to agree to this. Y'all might be, you know what I'm saying, down with it, but I'm not. And so they're saying there is no new plan. This is literally our last leg that we are left on, right? And so he told him, you know, you're the one that said that it may not look the way we want to moving forward, but we basically are trying to survive. And Phil said, baby, I ain't trying to eat the shit they throwing at us. I said, I know that's right, Phil. He said, you can tell them to kiss my whole black ass. All right, he ain't here for it. He gonna find another way. I said, what way you gonna find, Phil? Okay, inquiring minds want to know. So, you know, basically he leaves out and says this is not going to be the legacy that he's going to be left with. Now, we get to, you know, Viv and old Erica chilling out at the house. Like I said, they done made some drinks. She done took her on a tour around the house. And she lets on, like, not for nothing, I thought, you know, the deal you was offering, Phil, was okay. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the fact that you shiesty girl, all right? And she basically also let her know that she still had this long friendship and a sisterhood. And, you know, here go Erica. I say, yeah, girl, we know, because you nasty. That's why you can't keep nobody. You know, she don't have no sisterhood. She don't have no long-term friendships. But she do, however, comma, know all about putting, like, business first or whatever and going hard after her career. And she knows about divorces, okay? She's an expert in that. And so, you know, basically, you know, she got that covered. And so she basically was like, well, I could use some clarity right now about careers. Okay, that's what Aunt Viv say. And she talking about some try me. I said, Aunt Viv, don't try this chick with nothing. But Aunt Viv proceeds to tell her all about this dream job that she could possibly have. But at the end of the day, it could be at the expense of someone else. And of course, here go, you know, Erica saying, well, they must be not that great at their job if they offering it to you. You know, you can't sell yourself short either. After all the hard work that we got to do, how we got to go extra hard and we get disrespected and everything like that. you know, if it's for you, it's for you. Now, that's true, but coming from Erica Boo, I just don't want to hear it. Now, of course, Jeffrey is running up on Phil when he get home like, yo, I've been calling you multiple times. You ain't been checking your messages. And he see that Erica is there, and he's like, what a surprise this is, ladies. Okay, I wasn't expecting this. And Erica talking about some just like old times. I said, no, girl, because if it was like old times, Viv would probably be ragging your daggone behind because you was trying to get her man back in the old times. So we don't necessarily want to bring that up right now, do we? Now, we finally have Lisa and Will sit down for this talk. And he actually lets her know, like, you know, because she's telling him to put his differences aside and talk to Carlton. Now, Will's talking about, oh, no, I'm done, you know, looking out for Carlton. I said, well, whatever. But, you know, if it comes down to going up against Drew for him, he would definitely still be down to do that. And he's like, well, what's your excuse? And she's saying she got into something with him recently as well. And so she's like, yeah, and he came up to me telling me that Drew was the one that leaked the video. And he was like, well, actually, I have to admit, okay, the only reason why he came and told you that is because I was telling him to tell you because I didn't think you would believe it coming from me. And she's like, well, why wouldn't I believe it? And she's like, you really think that was him? And he's like, hell to the yeah. So it did seem like she looked at it and took it in a different perspective once, you know, Will let her know the truth as far as that part went. So what is she going to do with Drew is concerned, y'all? Do I really care? I really don't. But, you know, we shall see. Now, you know, she said he do, you know, Will told her he do be on some diabolical shit. But she just don't be wanting to see it. So she gives him the scoop about him hanging around Connor again. And he's like, well, I don't necessarily believe that either, especially with it coming from him or whatever the case may be, right? But, you know, Will gonna go ahead and look into it, child. We know he is. So, you know, he does say in reference to that he will be with his cousin all day. Now, we move on from that, and Hillary is over here having this function, child, at the daggone mansion, of course, of LaMarcus, okay, his big old house. And they're telling her, like, he want to do more than just, you know, be your friend, girl. Like, how are you not seeing it? He coming up talking about, there's my girl, and giving her a kiss and being all up on her clothes. And they like, child, is she damn blind? Like, how she don't see that he wants more than that? You know, friends my behind, okay? You know, her little sis get up in there, Ashley, and telling her that she gonna help her. And when one of the girls don't show, she actually ends up having to ask her to step in for her. She's also keep checking Jazz's Instagram, and she's saying how he's having this launch thing today. And she's like, Dag, I'm the one that really helped him set up everything. And he was so excited for this and looking forward to it. And it's finally that day, you know, of course, Ivy, child. And I said, really, we gonna listen to advice from Ivy? She talking about forget him. You know, he's a thing of the past. He moved on. Who cares? And it takes little Ashley to actually drop some daggone gems on her and say, look, you're the one that got Jazz on social media in the first place. He was never even a social media person. So maybe a part of the reason why he's actually even sharing it is to show you. She's like, child, he's literally sending you daggone signals, okay? But, of course, she don't want to leave, and she want to focus on her event for right now. But she's still, you know, constantly checking to see how things is going with him. Now, we get back over to Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil, and they're having this conversation, sipping on a little bit of wine, okay? And she's like, yeah, whatever happened with the deal that, you know, they offered, not for nothing, that was a good deal, you know, putting aside the whole Erica situation. And she says, you know, even talking with her really got me to thinking about this, you know, accepting this Neiman position or whatever the case may be. And he was like, well, it's a great opportunity for you at the end of the day. And I have every faith that you would be able to go ahead and get it, right? And he's, of course, telling her about how the acquisition is bad. And he ain't trying to, you know, deal with that. And he don't know how the hell they, you know, could possibly move forward. So she was like, well, what about that offer? Like, at the end of the day, it did seem like you was going to be getting everything that you asked for. And he was like, yeah, maybe. Okay, I'll go ahead and think about that. You know, but how would you feel with me working with Erica? And she was like, trust me, I'm going to keep my eye on her. I ain't worried about that. You know, I just want you to do what's going to make you happy. So now in the meantime, we basically had, you know, Jeffrey done, child, when Carlton get home, Jeffrey done said it was a good idea for these parents to talk, because Jeffrey know what time it is with, Carlton is concerned, and he's trying his best to let these daggone people see what is happening too, and he already put 2 and 2 together and knew that it was something pertaining to daggone Connor. So when he get home, his mama sitting there with daggone Connor and his mama, and they trying to get these lies together, child, and they ain't making no type of sense. Of course, we know that Carlton's story was he drove somewhere 10 damn miles away, didn't know where he left the car, walked all this way, called his mama, had a half a beer that made him sick, blah, 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 blah. And Connor's story to his mom was originally that he got robbed because he don't know where the hell his phone and his damn watch is. So now when they face to face, they both trying to get their stories together. They both looking at each other like, oh, shoot, what we gonna say? Then Connor flips it and was like, no, my original story was basically a lie. Carlton was right. We was originally together. We did have the beers. I split for him and I end up going to see this girl. So his mama talking about, oh, no, don't tell me it was that girl. And please tell me you use protection. I said, lady, really? Like, are we all dumb and dumber and dumbest up in this daggone room? Y'all don't see that this is a bunch of bull these boys is freaking giving y'all? Nope. Apparently, they don't. So she gets more concerned about that than any daggone thing else. And he's saying how he supposedly left his phone and watch more than likely in her daggone room, and when he see her again, he will try to get it back from her. So of course, him and Carlton is patting themselves on their backs that they was able to get away with this and maneuver. And as they are walking out, Will is coming in and seeing them. So now he's putting 2 and 2 together that, hey, okay, Drew may be an a-hole, but obviously he has some kind of point to what he was saying, because we do see, that they up in here and trying to cover for each other. His spidey senses is tingling too. He knows that Carlton is full of it. So getting back over to LaMarcus' house, we having this little fundraiser thing going on, and gonna have this football match, softball match, whatever, between the girls and the guys. And she done got Ashley in one of the damn outfits too for the girl that couldn't make it. And of course he coming up to her to beat her in the head. Oh, what's on your mind? And I hope you not thinking that I've just been doing this because I want to get back with you. And she's basically saying to him, I hope you don't think that I'm using you and that I'm superficial. And he's like, of course, I would never think anything like that. And I don't want you to think I'm doing this just to get you back unless it's working. Okay, if it's working, then you could go ahead and think that. And of course, she's laughing, but he's dead serious. It's like, Hillary, you ain't slow. So why are you acting slow, girl? I just don't know. But, of course, he was trying to say if it was going to work, he would be happy with that. But he was like, no pressure. This is all about friends and having a good time. So let's just have a good time the way we used to. And she's basically saying, all right. So she falls for the okie doke. Anyway, child, we get to this sit down with daggone Phil and Erica, right? Now, he's saying he will go ahead and take her up on this offer, but he do have a few requests. Now, in the meantime, she gets kind of slick and a little too, feeling herself, where it was like, oh, I knew that was going to work, and that's why I went by the house and talked to your wife, because I knew that was going to lead you, right here to me, and obviously I made the right decision. So I said, so you was being sneaky, you wasn't being sincere, you didn't want to give an apology. Shocker, okay? And so at this point, he's saying that he still want that daggone account that she promised or whatever. And she's like, the Garrison account. He's like, exactly. You didn't think I forgot. And so she's like, well, I'll make the call, whatever it takes. And, they're going to be so happy. And he's like, all right. So, of course, Phil is taking one for the team. And he's saying he looks forward to the negotiation. He wanted this account so that he could be able to go ahead and give it to the firm so that they can make the deals that they need to, stay afloat. And she over here whispering in his ear, pulling him in, talking about this is gonna be so good. I said, girl, that ass whipping that Viv gonna give you gonna be good too if you keep playing the hell around. Okay, Phil, I need you to check this chick. Now, moving on from there, Carlton coming in the daggone room, you know, he just happy to get away from his parents, only to have to bump into Will, and Will to say, you know, I know we ain't been messing around with each other like that, but what the hell is going on? Why you sitting here smiling in Connor's face when you basically say that, you know, you don't mess with him or whatever? What's really good? What is the truth? Okay, are you getting high again? Are you on that stuff? So then he go and he ripping the damn room around, you know, basically looking for it, because Will is looking in his eyes saying, are you on drugs right now? And he talking about some, no, I'm not on drugs or whatever. Yeah, I lied about Connor, and I was with Connor, and that was stupid. I made a stupid play with Lisa, and it backfired, and I had got upset about that, but it ain't nothing else going on. And so he was like, now you all, you know, and your feelings or whatever, and trying to come at me in a certain way, but it's really your stuff you worried about, and you trying to make it like it's me. He said, well, didn't you say that my apology wasn't worth shit and all of that, which Will did. And so Will's like, no, yeah, I did do that, you right. So he was like, well, one thing you know, Connor didn't do is basically shit on me and project things or whatever. He was like, yeah, you know, my dad and them told me about what happened with your coach or whatever the case may be. And so between that and your little girlfriend or whatever, you know, you basically trying to push your stuff off on me. Of course, trying to do reverse psychology on, you know, Will, and make it seem that way, when no, Will is right on damn target with what he's saying, even though he can be an a-hole too, right? And so Will is like, okay, because he had went and started pulling everything out the drawers and looking for the drugs and stuff like that. And, you know, Carlton had came and basically stopped him. And so Will ends up saying to him, okay, buddy, he was like, you ain't hurting nobody but yourself. Keep lying, okay? So he let him know, like, I don't believe one word that's coming out your damn mouth, because I'm looking in your eyes and I see what time it is. And he basically walks out and leaves Carlton standing there with the damn egg on his face, you know, rubbing his daggone head, like, how the hell am I going to keep continuing to keep lying about this? So now, you know, we get to Viv calling and saying she's considered the offer and she's actually going to accept the executive director position. So I said, okay, y'all, we got some big changes coming, because we got Viv making this, you know, agreement to accept this position, and we got, you know, Phil accepting this position, and also at the same time getting ready to leave his firm behind that he helped build. So this is some big steps, and little do they know all the rest of the things that's about to be in the mix for them. So of course Jazz is over here partying, he's celebrating, he, you know what I'm saying, live, he's showing all the people coming through. And, you know, Hillary is feeling conflicted because she want to be at her event doing what she got to do, and at the same time she do feel like she should be there with Jazz. She's still kind of checking back and forth there. We got James coming and meeting up with Phil, and him saying, damn, you got this deal, you got the Garrison account, like, I can't believe it, how did you do it, this is great, we excited, we happy, you know. But of course Phil says, yeah, it does come with, you know, a condition, and the condition is that he has now accepted the position that Erica was offering him. He's leaving James in charge. This is now his time. You know, he have all the faith in him that he can move forward and do what he needs to do. This is the sacrifice that he had to make. Oh, do y'all think this was a good decision from Uncle Phil? We shall see, y'all. We shall see. So, you know, of course, he felt like he wasn't ready, and this wasn't the dream, and this wasn't the way that they were supposed to go. But Phil was like you said, it may not go the way that we planned it to go, okay, when we started all this 20 years ago, but it is still going to go the way it's supposed to in the end, right? So he's still looking at this as a win. It's probably like bittersweet for him. Now, in the meantime, you know, Will gets there. He congratulates Jazz. He tells him Hillary is probably going to show up. Don't worry about it. And he going ahead to use Jazz's place for a minute with old Jackie. Now, Jackie get up here and he really want to talk. He's still in his feelings about this doc thing. He want to get to the truth of what she's really known all this time. And she talking about, you got me here finally, and you want to just sit around and talk. You don't want to get in and do. Okay. And so, of course, they got a smoochy, all right, and then they got to have the talk after. And, of course, he's disappointed in her because she finally tells him, I feel like part of the truth, okay, just to kind of shut him up, but still at the same time saying she didn't know the full scope of it, but she knows that it did have something to do with his uncle. And of course, Will already done opened his daggone big mouth and spilled the tea to, you know, Doc about Uncle Phil helping him. I knew that was going to come back to bite him on the behind. So we got Hillary leaving from the Marcus house. He over here trying to offer her some damn, you know, hot tub and champagne or whatever. But she was like, no, I got to get up out of here. And lo and behold, of course, she goes to Jazz's place and ends up seeing him dancing on the floor, getting it in. And every time he look back, he ain't damn seeing her. And she leaves and she ends up back at LaMarcus' damn door talking about what you said about that hot tub. I just want to slap both of them, to be honest. I want to line them all up and slap them all, Carson included, because he goes back and, you know, him and Connor meet up and they discussing how, you know, Aunt Viv is a lot scarier than his mom, and that he lost his phone and his watch. That's why he couldn't never answer back, you know, none of Carson questions. They basically took his car supposedly to get something to eat, but done drove all the way up to West Bubble, okay, ran out of gas coming back, and nobody even had the decency to put no damn more gas in it. Just left it damn near. And Carson really chooses to still be around these damn people, child. And Carson is saying, yeah, we got to be a lot more careful. It can't be no more, you know, adventures like that. And they talking about some, yeah, another Carson Connor adventure, and laughing about it or whatever the case may be. And he's like, I'm surprised you called your mom to pick you up. And he was like, well, that was really the only number that I can remember offhand. And that also was the only person that I would think that would believe me. And remember you said that, Carson, because then when your mama finally do realize and the truth kick in on you, you ain't never gonna have her damn you know, trust in that same way again, right? And he says she's always trying to see the better side of him. So Connor's asking him, like, oh, so are you done with everything now? Done? Oh, no. You know what I'm saying? Give me more. Do you got more? So, of course, he go ahead and get some more damn drugs for him. And I was just hoping Jeffrey or somebody was going to be behind, like, I see you. I see you. Okay, but no, we didn't get that. It should be coming, though. So they go ahead and walk away from each other, whatever the case may be. Now, of course, you know, we basically had, who was it? We had, I'm sorry, y'all. We had Phil and Jeffrey finally go see Doc. And they like, yeah, well, you could forget about Will. He's not going to be involved in this anymore. You know, he's trying to tell them to sit down and say, and I knew y'all was going to show up sooner or later. I'm glad y'all here. And he's trying to make it seem as if this other person that's over here trying to blackmail him is basically going above and beyond. Like, that's where he draw the line. He's not into what he's into, and that the guy's been trying to hold things over his head. And he was like, you know, not so fast. I think y'all may want to stick around, because they was like, oh, well, you got a moral compass all of a sudden when it comes to that, but what you're doing is okay. And he's like, man, what I've been doing, people been doing for years. I also forgot to mention that him and Will had ended up meeting up too, where he was like, yo, you wasn't in practice today and you just gonna avoid me. And he was also telling Will, this is the way the game is played. There's nothing new about what he was doing. And Will was telling him, like, yeah, it's nothing new about it, but for some reason I thought you were above that. I actually thought you was a guy that was on the straight and narrow. Like, you had me fooled. I don't know how, Will, but whatever. You know, you had me fooled. I was expecting more out of you. It's really a disappointment, because I thought you was another person that worked hard and came up from nothing, you know, on the come up or whatever, and that you was genuinely trying to help me. And he also got very disappointed with Jackie, because he was like, so this whole time it was about getting close and getting something from my Uncle Phil or whatever, and you never told me this, and she gonna say she didn't know all the info. So now that they're here at the office, you know, they're trying to tell him, like, okay, well, that's over and we won't be dealing with you anymore. But he's like, no, this is gonna affect y'all too, because at this point they're ready to leak something on all the players and everybody that was affiliated with this. And so at the end of the day, you know, they basically would be, you know, affected too, and none of them would be able to go to the colleges that they want, and they would have all different kind of issues. And so Phil is telling him, your plan was to, you know, basically try to use me to help you or whatever, and that's never gonna happen. It's all over. And so he was like, you know, well, the students don't know anything about this, so they basically will have plausible deniability or whatever, right? But he says the guys started taking money from street dudes, and that's where the problem basically comes in at. And with that part, you know, he don't agree with it. So Jeffrey's like, you suddenly have a conscience, and he was like, yeah, I'm all for the hustle, but taking that same hustle to our hood, he's like, yeah, that's a no-go. That is definitely where, you know, it goes too far, and he would rather basically see the whole place burn down and all of that, right? And so just as he was about to be like, Will won't be playing on it no more, he was like, Lorenzo knows all his stuff or whatever. So, of course, like I said, it would affect everybody, even Will, you know. So he was like, that brings you into it. So Phil is like, okay, then what is it that you exactly want me to do? It's nothing that I would be able to. He was like, sure it is. I could use a man like you. He was like, at the end of the day, you know, I never use none of my connects to basically get somebody out of jail, okay? Of course, Will, right? So that's coming back up again. And he's like, the way I see it, I could use somebody that's on that gangster shit like you, okay? Because that was gangster. And I say, yeah, you gonna get some gangster shit, Doc, but it ain't gonna be what you think it's gonna be. And of course, Will sitting here on the edge of his damn bed, you know, basically having all the thoughts, all the words that, you know, he said to Phil and Phil said to him, and all the things that Doc said to him, and all of that basically going in his head. So what the hell you about to do, Will? You better sit your damn behind down somewhere. But that was the episode, y'all. That was the episode. Y'all tell me what y'all think going on. Did Phil make the right decision? Did Viv make the right decision? Did Hillary make the right decision going back to LaMarcus Child? Did Jeff make the... Did Jazz make the right decision? Sitting here dancing on the daggone dance floor with 4 chicks not paying attention to the door. Did Carlton? We know Carlton ain't make the right decision, so I ain't even going to ask about the eye. But put it all in the comments. Let's discuss. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you rated, what you think we going to get in the season finale. Let's discuss it down there, y'all. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you are so inclined. Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky. Till next time, y'all. Toodaloo.